So look, this stuff is extremely boring, but it makes me over $1,000 a day, and it can get you to $10,000 per month extremely quickly. In fact, out of all the possible ways to make $10,000 per month online, this is the fastest and the easiest and the most realistic for beginners. In this video, you will discover exactly why. Now, since it's probably the first time you and I meet, why should you listen to me? My name is Fred, and I'm an entrepreneur from a lower middle class background. I went from having only $400 to my name over 5 years ago to making upwards of $1,000 a day at 21, selling services and consulting online. A lot of people mistakenly believe that the reason why they're not successful is because they don't have the time, skills, or even the energy to do the work. In reality, what holds people back is three things. The first is knowing exactly what to do, having a proven step-by-step process to follow. The reason it took me 10 years, from the moment I typed how to get rich in the YouTube search bar when I was 11 and discovered the whole concept of online business, to the moment I had my first $1,000 day in sales at 21, was because I didn't know what to do. I had no one to show me the way, to guide me, to make me stay accountable. Back then I really struggled with discipline, I didn't really believe in myself, and I didn't have a proven step-by-step process to follow. Now later on, I started to work with mentors and coaches, and while some weren't worth the money, some of them changed my life, and I will be forever grateful to have met these people. Because even back then I understood, I don't know what I don't know. If my parents had known what six-figure earners know, they could have made 6 figures a year themselves, but instead, because they didn't know these things, we were lower middle class. It's not because they weren't smart or talented or hardworking, they worked their asses off. If you grew up in a low-income or middle-class family, you know it's true. Your parents work hard, they're undervalued, underpaid, so it's not a work ethic problem. Unlike the hustle culture people say, it's not because you don't want it bad enough or because you can't work hard, it's because you don't have a proven step-by-step process to follow. It's like if tomorrow I wanted to start an e-com company, because I don't know much about it, I would struggle to find success all on my own. But if instead I were to be mentored by Jeff Bezos or Jack Ma themselves, well, now all of a sudden, do you really think I wouldn't be able to see any success? I would be mentored by the best guys in the industry, so of course I would see success, no matter my background or my circumstances. So I figured if I wanted to accelerate the process, I needed to learn from people who've got the sort of results that I want to have, people who resonate with me. Now the other thing that typically holds people back is taking action, being disciplined, and being consistent. A lot of people will say, oh, if you want to be successful, you need to be disciplined and consistent. And yes, that's good advice, except that one part of the equation is missing. You can be as consistent, as hardworking, as disciplined as anyone could possibly be. But if you're consistently working on the wrong thing, you will consistently get disappointing results. Back in 2019-2020, with one of my friends, we decided to start a dropshipping business. Now, considering we were both broke high school students with little savings to invest, it was a stupid decision. So we found a winning product, a flat squeeze mop, and built a Shopify store around it. I created some creatives for Facebook ads, and I created our first ever ad campaign. I remember clicking on the button to launch the ad and then going to the living room to have dinner with my parents, and 30 minutes later, when I got back to my room, I noticed on my phone like dozens of WhatsApp notifications from my friend. He was literally spamming me with messages because we had gotten a sale. At first, I didn't even believe him. It felt too good to be true, too easy. But then I went onto Shopify and I saw it. We had made a sale. I literally made $50 in 30 minutes from my bedroom. How insane was that? So that moment alone changed my life because it showed me I could make money online. So not only was it possible, but it was possible for me, because before I made my first online sale, even though it wasn't much money, I was still skeptical. I would see these extremely wealthy guys driving expensive cars, wearing $1,000 watches, and I was like, maybe they have something that I don't, or maybe they just got lucky. Maybe it's not really possible to make money online, at least not for me. But that proved me wrong. Now, to be honest with you, I had a feeling dropshipping wasn't going to make us rich, and in fact, deep down I knew it wasn't the best business model for me. So what ended up happening is that Facebook ads quickly ate up all of our ad budget. So sure, we made $50, but we spent close to $200 on ads, and that didn't even include the cost of the product, the shipping, as well as Shopify, the monthly subscription. And because we were both broke high school students, we couldn't afford to keep losing hundreds of dollars per day on ads, so we had to stop this business pretty quickly. Warren Buffett said it himself, it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you're in. Dropshipping is a terrible business model, especially for beginners, because you need hundreds, if not thousands of sales every month just to be able to replace the income that you make with your day job. If we do the math, let's say you wanted to make $10,000 per month. Well, if you made $10,000 in revenue, not profit, with dropshipping, you would typically get 9 to 20% in profit margins. So it's extremely thin. So what this means is that out of the $10,000 you made, you would only keep between $900 to $2,000, and that's before tax. Typically in most countries as a company, you will pay 25% in corporate corporate tax. So after tax, you would keep out of the $10,000 you made between $675 all the way up to 1.5k. And if you want to use that money for yourself, you will need to pay tax again, either in the form of dividends or as a salary, and pay your income tax. Do you realize that you made $10,000 in a month with dropshipping, but you are actually more broke than somebody working at a fast food joint? And yet, people still make these fucking shitty videos about how dropshipping is the best business model for beginners. And finally, the third thing that holds most people back is focusing. Most people are so hyper-stimulated, they're going to have their phone right next to them when they're supposed to be doing deep, intense work. When I was writing this video, in fact, I literally just had a cup of warm black tea, my water bottle, my laptop in front of me, and a light therapy lamp. That's it. My phone was on airplane mode and out of sight. That way, it's out of mind. Studies have shown that on the average 8-hour workday, most people are only productive for maximum 2 to 4 hours. I have people who come to me and they really want to get started. They really want to build a profitable business, but they tell me, I'm afraid I don't have enough time. Would this still work for me? And the answer is yes, absolutely. You can take things at your own pace. Some people decide to work with me and they only have 2 hours a day to invest in building their business. Sometimes it's only even just 1 hour a day, but 7 hours a week focusing on the right thing will still get you so much further ahead than 99% of people who don't have a proven step-by-step process to follow and who might be able to invest more time, but they're working on the wrong thing, so it doesn't matter. If you want to discover how I went from struggling financially, only having $400 in my bank account over 5 years ago, to making upwards of $1,000 a day at 21, selling services and consulting, I've recorded a free video in which I share with you everything I did step by step. That way, you can literally just copy me. Or if you're committed to becoming financially free and building your business, you can directly book a free call with me or my team and we'll see if we can help you. All of the links will be in the description. Look, people love gimmicks. People love new shiny objects because a lot of people, unfortunately, simply don't want to accept that even if you love what you do for a living, there are some days you won't love it. In fact, it'll feel like shit. Sometimes you're going to have to do boring tasks. That's just part of the process. That's life. And nowadays, with social media, with things like Netflix, we're so used to be constantly hyper-stimulated, entertained, that we can't tolerate boredom anymore. And that in turn prevents us from doing deep work. And that's the key to doing high-quality work. And high-quality work is what gets you paid a lot of money. Oftentimes what works the best, it's the boring fundamentals, true and tested principles that stand the test of time. Some of those people I speak to, they really struggle with shiny object syndrome. All they need is a proven step-by-step process to follow and somebody to make sure they stay accountable, consistent, and disciplined. Over 5 years ago, the truth is, I too struggled with shiny object syndrome. It was making my life hell and preventing me from getting the things I wanted out of life. At the time, I was still working on dropshipping with organic marketing because I couldn't afford paid ads. But my problem was, I was too fixated on the competition. So anytime I would come across a competitor who looked more successful than us, I wanted to copy what they were doing. So that's exactly what I would do. I would close down the current Shopify store I was working on, only to reopen another based on a completely different product. All of that based on the assumption that this competitor was making more money. That's madness. I would never give things enough time to actually see results. Now if you're wondering, so what's the best way to make money online? I genuinely believe the answer is selling services or consulting online. It's with this business model I've been able to make upwards of $1,000 a day. And on top of that, I've seen the most amount of people succeed with this business model, even though they started from scratch, with no idea of what to sell and to who. With that business model, you can charge anywhere from $500 up to $5,000 per customer, depending on what you sell and who you sell it to. Some offers are even more expensive than that. Your profit margins can be as high as 98%, meaning out of the $10,000 you made, you get to keep $9,998. That's before taxes, of course, but even after taxes, you will still be so much richer than if you earned $10,000 dropshipping. And on top of that, anybody can get started. There are typically 3 ways to do consulting. The first is to sell a service that you know how to deliver yourself. Let's say you're very good with Photoshop. You could sell services related to your expertise. Or let's say you're a personal trainer. Or in the past, you've been able to overcome an addiction. You could help people to fix the painful problem that they have. So in the case of an addiction, you could help that person overcome the addiction. That's a very painful problem and people would be willing to pay a lot of money for that. And that's typically something you can't do for others. Instead, you have to teach them how it's done and make sure they stay accountable. Now, what if you don't have any skills, experience, or you have nothing to teach at the moment? What should you do? What you can do instead is sell services even if you don't know how to deliver those same services yourself. Let me explain. The way you do that is by leveraging remote contractors. Your job will essentially to find customers, close the deals, and then get a contractor to deliver the work for your customer. That's literally what CEOs all over the world do. They hire employees to do the work for the customers. The CEO is not the one who's in the trenches every day. They simply manage the whole structure and make the right decisions. And some of your favorite companies, billion, trillion-dollar companies, that's the same business model they're leveraging. You've probably already bought stuff on Amazon, and chances are it wasn't even an Amazon product. So it's on Amazon, but it is sold by a third-party vendor. Amazon is simply the platform connecting the buyers and the consumers. It's like Upwork or Fiverr. These platforms don't provide services, they simply connect buyers and consumers. The same is true with Booking.com or Airbnb. Airbnb doesn't have any hotels, any apartments. They simply, again, connect buyers and consumers. And those are billion, even trillion-dollar companies. So look, you need to make a choice now. You can keep watching YouTube videos on how to make money online, but doing that won't make you more money. Or if you're committed to starting your business and becoming financially free, you can check out the free resources in the description below or directly book a free call with me or my team and we'll see if we can help you. That being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together, let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower ambitious individuals across the globe to become financially free.